6th versus 63rd. You know, Canada, according to the United Nations Human Development Index, is rated 6th in terms of quality of life. You apply those same indices to Indigenous peoples, to our people. We're 63rd. And that's what I mean by the poverty we face. 6th versus 63rd. That means there's inadequate housing, there's overcrowded housing. That means there's inadequate funds for education for our children. That means there's healthcare needs aren't being met. There's high incarceration rates by our people. Disproportionate numbers of our people are in jail. There's high youth suicide amongst them. The quality of life is just not there. And that's what I mean by closing the gap. It's almost, we need a process to involve everybody across Canada. We need a process to involve governments, federal, provincial, First Nations governments, working collectively together to close that gap. And when that happens, it's not only good for our people, because we want the same thing as everybody else enjoys in Canada. Good quality homes, good education for our kids, making sure they're proud of who they are as First Nations children, and they can start making great contributions to themselves, their families, their communities, and their nations, to all of Canada. That's what we want. First priority is basically to start looking at processes to implement self-determination. And that's where we need to begin. We have that inherent right to self-determination as Indigenous peoples. Our own land, our own laws, our own languages, our own people, identifiable forms of government. We need to keep working down that road. And that's what I mean by looking at new ways to embrace the concept of First Nations becoming, they say, a third order. What about a first order of government? And our laws as well can be respected, not only common law and civil law. That's going to be the basis of closing the gap as well. That's recognition about Aboriginal rights and title. That's also recognition of treaty implementation and improving the relationship we have with the whole Crown.